Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to a new Q&A. So the first question today is, can you please highlight the influence of Sam Sulek on his audience getting the wrong idea of needing to do a body part split and unnecessary volume to failure every day of the week? So Sam Sulek is a prime example of what's wrong with the online fitness industry, and it's nothing personal. I'm sure he's a good dude, and he's sure as fuck not the only guy in the fitness industry who has a physique that's a product of drug abuse rather than sound fitness practices. He's just misleading people on a much larger scale than most fitness influencers. And the thing is, Sam has no clue what he's doing. He doesn't know much about fitness. He takes a shitload of drugs and he has a very freaky physique as a result. So people assume he knows what he's doing and they imitate what he does. And that's a problem because he's doing shit in the gym that would never work for someone who's not taking fuckloads of steroids. Very few people are gonna see any gains from training 6 to 7 days a week with a body part split. And if you combine that with the ego lifting, then you have a very potent combination for shit gains and a lot of injuries. And it's very concerning, in my opinion, that so many people look up to this guy because he will unfortunately die very young if he keeps doing what he's doing. The next question is, what supplements do you recommend that are worth taking? So I take creatine, vitamin D, and melatonin. You can add protein powder to that if you struggle to hit your protein targets, and a multivitamin if you want an extra insurance policy. But the truth is, most supplements don't do anything. The ones I mentioned are worth taking, but they aren't magical by any means. Supplements are meant to supplement your training, nutrition, and sleep, and they might give you that last 1% once that's all dialed in. Everyone wants a magic pill that's gonna help them pack on muscle or burn fat, but that doesn't exist, unfortunately. Transforming your body is about being consistent with your training, nutrition, and sleep over time. The next question is, do you need to train and exercise several times a week to become very strong at it? So when you're a beginner, you want to practice your exercises more, and that's why all beginner programs focus on full body 3 times a week with the same exercises. Your goal during the beginner stage of lifting is to achieve neuromuscular efficiency in the exercises you're doing. Neuromuscular efficiency is your ability to activate your central nervous system and recruit muscles to produce force. It's quite literally the skill of being able to use your own muscles. And you don't have that skill when you're new to training, and that's why it's common for beginners to complain about not feeling the target muscle working during a given exercise. Without neuromuscular efficiency, your workouts won't be as effective. You won't be able to stimulate the muscles that your exercises are targeting. And the way to achieve neuromuscular efficiency is to train your exercises more frequently and master proper technique. You can also handle training the exercises more often when you're a beginner because you aren't moving much weight yet and it's not as hard on your recovery. Once you've mastered proper exercise technique, you know how to train hard, and you're moving more weight, you won't be able to train the same exercises multiple times a week. It's going to become too hard on your recovery and it will become difficult to make progress. I recommend training each exercise once per week once you're out of the beginner stage of lifting. This is the sweet spot for making continual progress without detraining from the exercises you're doing and losing your technique. The next question is, what's the rate of progress for a beginner, intermediate, and advanced lifter? So the more experience I gain working with clients, the more I realize that guidelines for your rate of progress are useless and they usually cause disappointment. Everyone will progress at a different rate, and when you put out guidelines, it causes the people who progress slower to think something is wrong when that's actually not the case. When you're a beginner, you will progress the fastest. As you become intermediate, your progress slows down, but you can still make consistent strength gains. As you become advanced, it takes much longer to see progress and the law of diminishing returns kicks in. I think it's very important to be emotionally detached from your rate of progress. Of course, if you're not making any progress, then you need to do something about it. But if you're making slow progress, that is fantastic. One of the most important lessons I've learned in my life is that you need to focus on inputs over outputs, which means that you want to focus on what you can control, which is what you put in. You can't control the outcome, but you can make it unreasonable to not achieve the outcome by controlling what you put in. In other words, if you're doing everything you can to make progress, which means that you're on top of your nutrition, your sleep, and you're following a good training program, then you've done your part. The outcome is now out of your control, but you've made it unreasonable to not achieve that outcome by doing the right inputs. You have to learn to enjoy lifting and lift for the sake of lifting rather than lifting so that you can get a certain outcome. One of my favorite quotes is, "The man who loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination." If you lift for the sake of lifting, then you will make all the progress you're capable of making because you won't stop. But if you only lift to achieve an outcome, then you will stop as soon as your progress slows down, which is inevitable. The next question is, I'm looking to try an upper lower full body split. What are your thoughts? So I've never tried this split, so I don't have much of an opinion on it. Personally, I would just keep it simple and pick either a full body split or an upper lower split. But if you want to try it, just remember that the workout split is simply the way to structure your workouts based upon the principles of effective training. So the principle goals are progressive overload, low volume, high intensity, simplicity, and a focus on basic exercises. If you abide by these principles and you see consistent progress, then it's a viable split. If you don't see progress, then it doesn't work. It's that simple. You'll just have to experiment and see for yourself. The next question is, when bulking, is it more efficient for muscle growth to be in a 300 calorie surplus every day or just on lifting days, lifting 2 days per week, and maintenance on rest days? So you want to be in a calorie surplus every day because it's about the weekly calorie surplus that you're in. And if you're only in a calorie surplus for 2 days of the week, then you'll only be in a total calorie surplus of 600 per week, which is not enough. And from my experience, there's no benefit to being in a calorie surplus on lifting days and then at maintenance on rest days. And you're not just growing on lifting days, you're growing mostly on recovery days. That's when you truly want the calories and the building blocks to build new muscle tissue. And I also found that changing your calorie intake throughout the week messes with your hunger and makes you want to eat more because your body operates on rhythms and likes to keep things consistent. So I believe it's best to stay consistent every day with the same calorie intake. So that's it for today's Q&A, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comment section below if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.